Well, after numerous comments, in fact, probably the single most requested video I have had, it is time to rank the Diderodix. Get excited, folks. There are, what was it? 18 versions of a Diderodix. Now, several of them are generic, but still, lots of named ships here. And again, of course, I have Tristan with me. Tristan, welcome in.
Hello. Hi. I
Hey.
don't understand you people that love your Romulans so much. But as you know, as an honorable Klingon warrior, I'm here to help you rank these ships. So,
I understand more recent love of Romulans. I understand old love of Scimitar, Romulan, Riemann Warbirds, but
Mhm.
I I I can't love the Diderodix. It is very difficult for me to love. WizKids did them dirty. They never should have had only 3 attack.
100%, I agree that the overall stat line is lousy. But I will say, as someone who doesn't run Romulans ever, um, looking through and making the rankings list, I was pleasantly surprised at, for the most part, just how solid most of the name shipped abilities are. I feel like, lots of times, both of us have done quite a few Klingon ship rankings,
Oh
and
yeah.
those are all over the board from, really amazing, top of the line, best in the game kind of stuff to what the heck was WizKids thinking? Here, there's a couple wonky ones, but overall, these are pretty solid abilities. If Yeah, the only downside is that 3 attack on these ships.
Yes. And sadly, this is not X-Wing where 3 attack was like, "Woo, yeah, we got this." No, this is Attack Wing where 4 is where you start going, I guess I'll make
Yeah,
that work. And anything less, you start going, unless you're a Jem'Hadar bug in swarm formation, it ain't gonna work.
hmm
So,
yeah.
all right, well, we got 18 here, and well, that's a lot. So let's kick stuff off.
Good.
My number 18 is the mirror generic, and I think I said everything I needed to when I said mirror.
hmm
Uh, I don't recall ever seeing Mirror Universe Romulans
In canon, you mean?
in canon.
Yeah, I think this ship is derived from is it Future Imperfect, where
Yeah,
yeah, that weird space kid, you know, creeps out Riker.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
Ambassador Tomalak and all of that. Yeah, I like
yeah,
that
yeah.
episode. I actually find that
I
episode
do. Yeah.
intriguing, but uh, boy, that would still make a good pack. You know, Doctor
That would be pretty
Agawa
cool.
and you know
Yeah,
First
yeah.
Officer Data, Data in the red shirt. I just enjoy that. But
You
yeah,
know, he get another Admiral Picard from there. Yeah,
yeah.
um, yeah. But we don't need a mirror Romulan ship. So
No, no. It just Mirror is not the strongest, and well, nothing here helps it at all.
no.
I know that it's that one mirror weapon. It still isn't enough. All right, that brings us to 17, and 17. I have the double crew, double weapon generic Diderodix because if you're going to give me a Diderodix, it better have a tech slot,
hmm
especially now with Romulan cloaking device, and I will beat that drum until it's broken.
I mean, at least you can put to rule on here and get your Romulan cloaking device.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can think of. Well, yeah, I could think of 2 Romulan weapons that I could put on here, but one of them is going to be additional phaser arrays and uh, maybe disruptor pulse, I guess. But only because I have space and I need to fill it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
there's the mirror universe weapon to give it to Daredix an extra attack die, and then there's the weapon from the Romulan Pack 1 to give a Daredix an extra attack die. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that I guess that's how you run it, but boy, that's just physically expensive.
Yeah. 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 I'm not spending $200 for one attack die.
No, 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 not gonna work. So yeah, we're moving quickly here. Number 15. Oh, okay, little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I put the crew double weapon tech, just because if I'm gonna have two of something, I don't really want it to be weapon. And given the other choices for two of something on the Daenerys, they'll be up later.
Yeah. I mean, I think you know, probably starting to see a pattern. I'm not a huge fan of Borg stuff.
Yeah, I
This
get that.
one's this one's fine. It's just you get an extra, you get that attack die, which is nice, but it's more expensive for a generic ship.
It is.
I, it's okay, but
Yeah, and it's. I mean, ooh, you get an extra shield on a ship that wants to cloak.
yeah.
Okay, number 15.
All right.
I'm oh, sorry, grabbed wrong. Okay. I threw the double crew weapon tech, 25 point recosted to Daredix. It looks like a DS9 screen cap, but again, I to crew. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm just not excited. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The generics aren't super fantastic. I put the Temet here because I feel like it's just a terrible ability
Oh yeah,
for a lot of money. I mean, how often are you going to use this? You can't be cloaked. You lose in a defense die for one attack. I mean, we've already established there are better. You can put additional phaser arrays on a generic and probably still be cheaper and not have the same drawback. Um, I'd rather run a generic than most of the generics anyway than this one. It doesn't make any sense to me to use that ability.
no, the Temet's bad.
Yeah.
I'm with you. The Temet is so bad it's my number 14. And I don't knock you. I mean, the Temet could have been 18, and I don't think anybody would blame any of us. So, okay. And you've got the, what, the double weapon
Double.
there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Anything to add on that?
It's better than double weapon, double crew. It's
Yeah.
better than it's better than the Temet.
It's better than the Temet. I would
Slightly
rather
better.
save 5 points than have this garbage ability, even though it's got two tech slots.
Uh-huh.
See, in our Burrell video, we argued for some ships that even with bad named abilities, at least they had the slots that we wanted. This one, no redeeming factors on the Temet. Nothing.
No.
It's just bad. Okay. Yeah. Number 13.
Yeah. Where I got here? Well,
Okay. You want to take the generic since it's the double
yeah.
up here?
Yeah. I mean, it's double crew, tech, weapon. I like the double crew because there's a lot of flexibility there. If you want, that additional tech, you can just put Rule on there and run Romulan cloaking device with interface, what have you.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot of viability there. So if I were going to run a generic to Daredix, this is probably where I'd go.
I buy that. For me, Avatar of Tomed, or Tomed, I guess. Uh, One, I don't need three weapon slots on a ship.
Mm.
Secondly, I don't need the named ability at all. I mean, the Temet's bad, uh, but the Avatar of Tomed is physically hurting myself. This is David. Why don't you stop punching yourself in the face? And like I have no reason to want to roll one extra attack die to where I have 50-50 to maybe deal damage to you at the guaranteed cost of hurting myself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter if I have shields. I'm taking hull damage. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah. The avatar just ugh. I I don't know why it's a thing. It's just a bad ability. I guess there's a slight redeeming quality in that the Romulans have a captain. Oh, it's one of the really early captains, and I'm blanking on his name, but he can repair hull damage if you
Oh
perform a
yeah.
green maneuver, or maybe it's yeah, I think it's just by performing a green maneuver. So at least you can kind of use him on the avatar, and so it's not a terrible combo there. Even then, I just want to find a way to give myself the extra attack die and not suffer the damage. Plus, it still falls into rule of three. And yeah, I just it's bad all the way around. So that's where I'm at. All right, number 12. This is where I bring in the Romulan-Borg generic. I do value that extra attack die, at least at this point. Um, I like I like the Borg slot for potential because you could put something like Locutus on here, and maybe there's some fun to be had with 3 crew slots and a Borg slot and some weapons and Romulan cloaking device. I don't know. I think there's potential. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's gonna win you a tournament, but can you have fun at the kitchen table with it? Yeah, and that's better than my previous few ships that I can say. Is at least when I look at the generic Romulan-Borg Dideritics, I can say I think I can have some fun with that.
Yeah, I have the other generic because I grabbed the wrong one for 13. This was actually would have been my 13. The other one would have been 12.
Oh,
But having looked at them, I mean, really, I could do 2 tech slots. Like I said, Romulan cloaking device, interface generator. Those are always 2 ones that you probably want to drop on there.
yeah.
So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that one either.
Well,
And
that's
it's got
my
a pretty
number
cool
11.
picture.
Sorry, that's my number 11. So it fits right in. I like having 2 built-in tech slots. I think that fits nicely. I think that's a good. If you're gonna have the generic, you're only gonna pay 25 points for it. You're not necessarily guaranteed to rule. Now to rule's free to go somewhere else. You have the space to put interface and Romulan cloaking device, and you don't have to find the slot for it. So that's why I like that Dideritics as I believe is my best generic. Yeah, as my best generic.
Yeah. At 11, I have the Terex
Okay.
because it's a mirror ship.
Yeah.
I love the ability. Um, it's got the 2 tech slots, but you're going to pay extra for Romulan cloaking device since it's a mirror ship, and you're going to pay extra for anything you really want on a Romulan ship because it's mirror. So if it were just straight Romulan, it would be a lot higher because I really love that ability.
Yes. I think if it was designed today, it might be Romulan mirror
Yep,
doubled.
I
Um,
imagine it would be
and if that's the case, I think it would be much better.
for sure.
Yeah. So I do like the Terex. Obviously, I like it a little bit better, but yeah, I don't blame you. The Terex being mirror does hurt it. Um, yeah. For me, now here at number 10. All right, we both have an Avatar of
We
Tomed.
do.
I went Borg on it,
Yeah.
but
I mean, everything that you said before stands. I mean, if, I know you were Decipher guy. You played the Star Trek one. The Star Wars CCG had later on in its life it had cards where you could get a ship and it would say Han Solo is the permanent captain on this ship with such and such ability. I feel like this could be Matt Decker is your permanent admiral because this is basically his ability. You get plus one attack and you do damage to your hull.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. There's better ways to get one attack die on a ship without having to hurt yourself.
Yes.
So
There are much much better. For me, I, up until like a week ago, I had the Borg avatar significantly lower because though it is a 4265 has a decent amount of slots, it was never something that impressed me. The named ability here is pretty bad.
yeah.
Ooh, you get to cloak and immediately do the regenerate action, which says you can't attack. And then then somebody commented and said, wait, what about third of nine? I think it is. There's a Borg crew that says when you regenerate, you can attack. And I went,
Hmm.
huh, I think that should work. That's a card being permissive. That should be a thing. And the text here, I think, is if you do so, you cannot attack that round. That's just repeating what the regenerate action means. It's not like it's adding an extra rule. So to me, that should be a thing. Uh, I don't know. It even if it's not, there's still times I want to cloak and regenerate and then try to run away because I'm healing or I need to get rid of a crit. And to me, that's more
Yeah.
valuable uh, than a bad attack. Although with three weapons, it seems like a ship that's built to attack. So I
It
think,
is attacking. So
yeah, I think it's also a ship that suffers from. It has all these weapon slots, but it only still has the forward 90 arc. And you would have
that's a good
thought
point.
with three weapon slots, they could have put a rear 90 arc on the ship.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of interesting. Like all these massive ships that you think would be bristling with weapons, the Vorcha, the Spectre, the Negvar, and have a 90-degree forward firing arc, and you know apparently you don't need anything on the backside. I don't
Yeah,
know.
apparently not.
You know,
Coverage? Who needs coverage? Yeah. All right. Number 9. Okay, I see I wasn't far off.
no. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is me trying to show I'm not super biased against the board by ranking it this high.
Ah,
Um, but, there are some times where you're maybe not in a position to attack or you're fleeing. So yeah, that ability could work. You do get that extra attack die. You get all the shields really don't matter, but it's kind of pricey. But I mean, with all those weapon slots and stuff, there are potentially some Borg upgrades and stuff that might work into here. So
yeah.
it could work.
Yeah, I think is it Charvanek that lets you get the free is she free cloak?
Yeah, you can do a free cloak, and then you could do some other ASIC. So in theory, you could cloak. You could get Romulan cloaking device to get out of the way, heal, and then so maybe you can avoid getting attacked yourself and kind of regroup for that next round. That could work.
Yeah, I mean real pricey, but
Yeah, yeah,
potential. Yeah, for me, I number 9 I went with the Azure Mirror. Um I, I this is where I kind of start to like the abilities. I think this is a ship that getting a reroll for every damage card you have assigned. You want to cloak early and then probably get out a cloak late and use your shields after you have some hull damage. It fits. This is a ship that naturally wants interface generator, so you're not going to die in one bad shot. Uh, and while I'm not like in love with the named ability, because I don't like having to take damage, it's very against what Romulan ships want to do. It is a ship that I can use throughout the game, and it's only going to get better as time goes on.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So number 8 is I feel like I'm just talking ahead of you by a number.
Um, we'll catch up eventually.
Yeah. Uh, Number 8 for me, the Belloc. This is the original. This is the collective, or not collective. This is the organized play booster series, the 10-pack booster. And I was really high on this. I mean, granted, I got the first look at this out of everybody, but I like it. It's when defending, you can reroll a battle station. If you're cloaked, you can reroll all your battle stations. Doesn't help you against blanks, but
Yeah.
it's better than nothing. And at the time, for Romulans, they had nothing to help with cloaking. And I went, hey, this is actually a somewhat decent Daenerys that can help you. And now there's better, but at
Yeah.
least it was like, wait, this one can help you stay alive. We like staying alive.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of abilities or upgrades and stuff that allow you to re-roll defense dice. So it's nice to see that. And the Romulans, I think, have there really are three of these Daenerys that have some variant on that. So Azumir is another version of that. It just gets knocked points down because you can't use the ability until they start taking damage, and that's just you don't want that to happen. So, but it's nice that it's there. It's an option once you do take something to maybe mitigate that going forward. So
Yeah, and if you can find any way to add dice to the Azure, it gets better, right? Because then you
sure,
have more options of dice to reroll.
yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, that brings us to 7. And 7 is where I catch up with you with the Terex, and you catch up to me with the
Hmm.
Belloc.
Yeah,
There we go. So yeah, I mean I knocked the Terex a bit because it's mirrored, but I did give it its due because I'm like, no, this is actually a pretty good ability. I don't
yeah,
love that it's green maneuver locked, but it is a nice way to get a scan. And Mirror does have some cards that utilize scan, not tons. I think that's a place they can do even more with. But I like that it gave Mirror an identity and it's something they've played with. And if they were to ever get like a true version of Spock or even like Calvin Hudson, where scans just do more, that would be better. But until then, I like the cards that we have. And while I am not a massive believer in scanning as your one action, I like it as a free action.
yeah, yeah. The Belak, or the Belosh for those Indiana Jones fans. Yeah, I mean, the ability is nice. It's just that there's another version of the Balak that has a better version of this ability,
Yeah,
and so got to take that into account. But um, yeah, rerolls are good.
they are. Which brings us to 6. And at 6,
Oh wow, okay,
oh, don't worry, I'll get caught up pretty quick. At 6, I go with the Kazara. Uh, while I like an extra attack die, and I don't mind being cloaked, I think triple crew, I knock just a little bit because I want I want a little more variety in my slots, and um, sometimes I'm not going to need that die, or I don't even have the weapons to get up to rule of 3. Uh, Plus, I do have to get cloaked in order to use this, and then I'm coming out of cloak. And so then my action is cloaking, and while it is nice, it's giving me an extra die, I'm not able to get any quality.
sure.
So there's kind of this trade off, this tug of war that's happening, and it's not bad. I like the ability. I think it's very good. I like all really I like the top six. I think they're all good, usable Brels. Or not Brels, Daenerys's. Wow. Okay. Uh, but yeah, Kazara good. Like Kazara.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Tamal, it's got the slots you really want. Well, maybe not the two weapons. It'd be nice to have two crew instead, but the ability is interesting. Kind of plays back into our discussion with Picard, that Locutus that can disable shields. You could combine those and knock out four of your opponent's shields and probably punch right through to the hole if you wanted. Um, and it's not an action. It's just when you're attacking, you got to take an Ox token. You can deal with that. But if you really need to get through to hit that hull, this why not? It's there for you to use and doesn't really cost you much.
Yeah. No, I do think this is a play that can be done. It falls into really good Fed counters now. Took a while to get there, but they do exist. Okay. Brings us to number 5. And
Yep.
yep, Hakona. And oh, perfect example of a ship that was written before Rule of 3. And
Hmm.
but more than that, I knock it because it doesn't have the tech slot.
Yeah.
And this was the thing that bugs me is this was the ship with the Iconian gateway, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Which was such a technology based episode, and you're not gonna give this ship the tech? Uh, sigh. Um, no, it's very offensive. I enjoy this ship. I've run this ship. It's great in a Romulan fleet. Even if your opponent has a way to knock down your attack die, you're still going to bring it right back up. You can cap out at 6 dice, and you're going to do damage with it. So there's good here. There definitely is good. But uh, yeah, combine it with some other ships that will have the support. And I guess you can get Romulan cloaking device on it with Tyrul. So this is your fit for Tyrul.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely could, and you can really get. I think you get with Tarul, and then there's I think the Tomalak from the 2017 pack adds a tech slot if I'm not mistaken. So you could get two techs on here if you really wanted to. But yeah, that is a bummer. The ability, I mean, even with the rule of three, you know, six attack dice is good. Realistically, even without the rule of three, I mean, Romulan ships in general are so expensive to begin with. I can't imagine you'd have a five ship Romulan fleet. I mean, I think realistically, normally running three, maybe four if you're going to do like two science vessels and then two large ships to power your attack. So that's the limiting factor here is the Romulans really suffer. They don't have like a good mid card Romulan ship where you can just run a swarm of them and be effective like the Klingons can and now the Federation can with the sabers.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what that ship would be because we've never really seen anything in canon, but I guess the D7 is about as close as they get.
Yeah, it would have to be from Star Trek Online.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know enough of the canon to justify it. All right. Yeah, there we go. We just swapped 4 and 6. So, no, I'm everything you said about the Tamal. I'm there with you. I do think this is a meta that can exist. The whole disable shields. You don't have any shields. Um, I think that can be there. Um, yeah, I like the Tamal. I haven't really played around with it, but it's a ship that makes me want to.
For sure. Yeah. Kazara, it's one of the oldest ships in the game. I think it's still solid. Um, I definitely understand, where you're coming from with, making that choice between cloaking and attack quality. I think it's made easier now with Romulan cloaking device, and then you can put Laris on here.
Yeah,
So you get that you cloak, you get the free Romulan cloaking device sensor echo, and then with Laris you're getting another +1, and a battle station token, so you're running 5 dice and you have the quality. So I think there's definitely a way to make that very viable. And 5 attack, 6 hold, 6 defense dice Daredevils. That's a solid ship. That makes me excited for Romulans.
Mm, good point. Yeah, Laris does a lot. I always remember Laris when I go to build Romulans. I always forget about Laris when I'm thinking about all captains in general.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he's so good, and now you can put Vala. So now Laris is 10 skill, and plus with Navala, when you cloak, you also get a Vade dice. I mean, that's some pretty solid stuff there.
It
So
is. Hey, yeah, the new version of the Belloc. So I do think there's a bit of a line here into the top three. I think there's a very clear top three,
yeah,
at least for me. But yeah, the new Belloc, it took all that was good about the old Belloc and it said, let's make it better. You can reroll one of your defense dice. Doesn't have to be a battle station. It can be any die. If you're cloaked, you can reroll any of your defense dice. It's like, where was that ability? Uh, I do I love that they said, hey, there was a cool ship. It's hard to get. Let's make it better. Like, great. They should do this more. It's a great design choice. I I enjoy everything about this version of the Belloc and happy it exists. And I have nothing bad to say about it.
yeah, it's great. I mean, it's the backbone for a super defensive ship for sure. It can be real tough to kill.
Wait, I have one bad thing to say about it. I like the artwork on the other Belloc more.
Only the other bad thing is isn't this one? Is this from the 2017 pack?
Um, is it?
Because I don't think it's in the. I don't think it's in
I thought it was in.
Secrets of Tal Shiar.
I thought it was in Tal Shiar.
Was it?
Hold on. I got Utopia up. Let's see. Uh,
Yeah, because there's
Scimitar.
only one Daredevil in Tal Shiar,
No,
and
yeah, it
that's
is. It's the Belloc and the ship that has not been named yet.
oh, so they're both in there, I guess. Okay,
Yes,
just like Ships of Line. Okay, well,
it's
never
the
mind. I have no
Tamal
downside to it.
is the Tamal's in
So
the
I
first one.
gotcha. Okay, so I have this ship. Great, I'm happy. All right, cool.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Number two. I sense there's agreement. There's agreement.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I I I always feel bad putting a prize ship, an expensive prize ship, and then you throw in a grand prize ship into a podium position here. But Sailor's Warbird has like everything I want. It has 2 crew slots, 2 tech slots, and it has a named ability that just makes me happy. If you perform a
Yeah.
sensor echo action, you can uh, flip your cloak to the red side and immediately perform an additional sensor echo action. And I go, oh, but with Romulan cloaking device, I can basically do a turn for free.
Yeah, it's really good. Now, I guess I would clarify. I'm pretty sure with Ramen cloaking device, the way it's worded, it's like you may
Yeah,
use one of these. So you only can, if you're doing 2 of them, you can only use the curve sensor echo once. But still, you're moving, you're flying all over the board.
still, it,
Um,
regardless,
yeah,
it's still fantastic. You can, yeah, it's you can curve and then you can go further out or come back in. It's yeah, you
yeah. I recently played against another Tristan, believe it or not. And he had the Sealer's Warbird, and that was super frustrating to try to track, especially since he had captain skill advantage on me. It was impossible to keep track of that thing.
bring back Borg 360 range 3.
No, thank you.
No,
No, I'm
no, you
okay.
don't want
I'm
to
okay
play in
with it.
that
Yeah,
world.
no, no. That's the world where you had crazed bearded Riker who from Parallels, who didn't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that world.
I've played in that world. I don't want to go back. That's good. Yeah, all of that brings us to number one, and I never thought I'd have a favorite Diderodix, but I have a favorite Diderodix, and I one that I really absolutely love flying. This is the ship that got me excited to play Romulans in that aforementioned Earth Romulan War. I know when we talked about Picard and Ahab Picard, you said a lot of uh, Fed players were running him because you knew you were up against Romulans, and I think Twilight's Wrath might have been the most popular Romulan ship just because players said, "Wait, there's a lot of fun that can be had with this one."
Yeah, it either gets the award for best named ship or the only ship named for a terrible young adult fantasy novel. But uh, I mean, it's a great ability. Again, it kind of mimics Sila's Warbird, right? Where you're getting that second cloak because your opponent is guaranteed to take an action. I think actually during that Romulan War tournament, I deliberately did not take an action at one point just to spite them. But
Yeah,
it's great. I mean, you get that free action, or you get a battle station token. Um, it's going to be one of those ships. It's going to be hard to track down. And if yeah, it's can be super fun to play. It can be super frustrating to play against. But it's a great ability. What more can you say? Plus, I'm pretty sure this isn't a ship that was appeared necessarily in canon, but I think the name was derived from a Deep Space Nine like anthology series of short stories or novellas or something like that,
I
which is
did.
kind of cool because we got the Da Vinci on the Federation side. That's from a series of Starfleet Corps of Engineer books,
Yeah.
and this one came from novels as well. So it's kind of neat to see that beta canon bleed in here a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw that too with the Star Trek Online theme with Ships of the Line as well.
Yeah. Um, I think all of this with the Diderodix, it leaves me wanting the Diderodix Advanced, and I don't think the whole
Hmm.
line needs to be redone. I think it's a construction card,
Yes.
something that gives an extra attack die, maybe a tech slot, maybe a hull upgrade, something like that. It could be an attack and a hull plus a tech for like 5 points, 4 points, something like that. Uh, and it makes every Diderodix instantly better.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Either yeah, construction card or maybe a tech card similar to the combat vessel variant we see with the Vulcans, where you just get plus one attack, plus one something, whatever that might be. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to see the Daredevil advanced as
Yeah.
well, and make these old cards a little more playable as well.
I'd also love to see a way to add a rear firing arc to a ship that doesn't have one, but short of printing a new cardboard template, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least they kind of solved that. They tried to make up for it with was it aft phaser emitters, or I don't remember the exact name of it from the new Tal Shiar pack, but I think it's like 2 points, 3 damage, fire it anywhere outside your primary arc up to range three for I think it's a two time token weapon. So that's you know considering your base attack, the Derek is three anyway. That's a pretty solid option, I think.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it really, um, some of those, I guess, early design decisions, not giving the Derridex and the Vorcha a rear firing arc, I think have really limited their effectiveness as the power creep has continued with, the rest of the game. And you see, what they're offering now, and everything has a rear arc, it seems. So
Yeah. Not that necessarily everything utilizes their rear arc, but
No, no, but it's nice. It's nice that it's there.
it
Yeah.
is. All right. Well, yeah. Weirdly enough, there is a decent agreement here with the Daenerys. We got
Hmm.
Twilight's Wrath at 1, Seela's Warbird at 2, the new Belloc at 3, the Hakona at 5, and then, the Kazaro or the Tamal at 4 and 6. So an average of 5. So we got three things tied at 5
Yeah.
or 4, however you want to go there. Uh, then we got a little mix of stuff down the way here at the 7, 8, 9, 10, but still pretty. You and I are pretty consistent in our views. Nothing. I think the biggest gap is your Terex at 11, my Terex at 7,
Yeah, I
or
think so.
or your what?
Board, yeah, generic maybe. Yeah, well, 12 and 16. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another 4. My Avatar of Tomed at 13, your Avatar of Tomed at 10. That's a gap of 3.
Yeah.
So still, I mean, gaps of 3, 4, 4. When we're talking 18 ships, it's not like anything's massively off. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think. Like I said, I think overall the Daredex's the abilities are really solid. I know we didn't really talk about the maneuver dials, but for a big ship they are super maneuverable,
They are.
which is great. But they suffer with offensive capabilities, and thankfully there are some options now to better that. It would have been nice to see another reprint of the additional phaser arrays, maybe in the Secrets of Tal Shiar, because I think otherwise it's only available in the 2017 faction pack. But
Yeah,
um, I mean, yeah, these are some, the Belak, the Twilight's Wrath are really solid new options that you can get right now. So
they are. That's well said. All right. Hey, Tristan's blog, Tristan's YouTube channel in the description. Check it out. Give him some views. Read his stuff. It's good stuff to watch. Good stuff to read.
and I'll write something new eventually.
I feel the pain. I've found it is much easier for me to sit in my office and talk to camera than it ever was to write. Uh, the little secret history, the shipyard started as a review blog on Board Game Geek,
No, okay.
and so
I feel like I've probably read some of that stuff at some point. Yeah.
yeah, it was a massive geek list, and where I was writing about every single ship, and eventually I was like, okay, I could write about this, or I could talk to camera and just get my thoughts out audibly. And I found I was much faster and more thorough talking than I was writing. But I know people enjoy both styles. People enjoy audio and people enjoy written words. And I'm glad that we have both and that you cater to both sides of the audience. So
I do my best.
yeah. So Tristan, again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And thanks for being up for the crazy shenanigans that the people want.
Yeah, anytime. Looking forward to seeing what they want next and what we can do for them.
All right. Well, you heard it. Now that we've given you the Daenerys, what do you want now? So let us know. Let us know in the comments. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, thank you all for watching. Until next time, keep brushing up your game. Take care.